Hey everybody, this is Mario with DeCarney Roofing, and today we're going to discuss 5 signs that you may need a new roof. This is my dog Nest.
All right, let's get right into it. Sign number 1, you may need a new roof. Leaks. You walk in your house one day, you notice a stain on your ceiling that wasn't there before. You go up in the attic, you notice water dripping all around your Christmas decorations. That's never a good sign. Once a leak pops up, that's usually a telltale sign of what's to come. More leaks may begin a little further down the roof, perhaps in the same spot for different reasons. Sometimes these leaks can be repaired, but generally it's usually a sign that you may need a new roof replacement, especially if your roof is over 15 years old. Definitely a recommendation to have us come out and take a look at it for you to ensure that your roof is gonna last. And if it isn't, we'll make any necessary repairs that can be done or give you a quote for a new roof replacement. Number 2, excessive granular loss. Well, how do I know if my shingles are missing granules? Well, let's say you come outside one day on your porch, you look down or patio and notice that all these different little rocks are on there that were never there before, and they all happen to match the same color that's on your roof. So what that means is that the shingles are beginning to shed their granules. The asphalt's no longer keeping them in place, so every time it rains, they're actually coming off the roof and shedding as opposed to staying on there like they're supposed to. So if you notice them on your patio or porch, if you ever happen to clean your gutters, or you have a company come out and clean your gutters and they let you know that there's a pretty good buildup of granules inside your gutter, then that is a telltale sign that you may need a new roof replacement. Granules belong in the shingles, not in your gutter or on your patio. So keep an eye out for that. Definitely a sign you want to look for. Number 3, moss and algae growth. If you have an excessive amount of moss and algae growth on your roof, you may need a new roof. It just depends how much is actually up there. But first things first, you're probably wondering, why do I have so much moss and algae on my roof? Well, if your home has a lot of tree coverage or portions of your roof are in the shade a lot of the time of the day, as opposed to other portions that get sun almost all the time, you're going to notice that those sections are going to have moss and algae growing on them. Because what happens is once it rains, those portions that are covered or in shade are going to get wet, and they're not going to be able to dry like the rest of the sections of your roof are, and that's when the moss and algae begin to grow. So a few reasons why it's not ideal to have moss and algae on your roof that can cause some problems. So the first reason is when you begin to get real thick moss on the roof, what begins to happen is when the water runs down the roof, that moss acts like a sponge and actually retains all that moisture. So long after the rainstorm has passed and the rest of the roof has dried off, you can still go on your roof, you could press that moss and you'll still see water coming out of it. So the whole purpose of a roof is to shed water, not to retain it. So when water is being absorbed by that moss, it's then being able to back up under the shingle, find the nail holes that are securing the shingle, and there you go, you have some leaks forming. Another problematic area is when there's a lot of moss buildup against the side of a dormer or the side of a house along where step flashings are, and water can no longer shed off the roof freely. All those pieces of moss are holding it back, allowing that water to back up underneath the pieces of step flashing. And again, there you go, you have some more leaks. But you might say, hey, I don't want a full roof. I can just have it pressure washed off. I can go up there with a broom, I could take it off. Well, you certainly can do that. We don't recommend doing that. The main reason being is once that moss and algae is attached to your shingle, once you try to take it off, look at the back of the piece of that moss if you've done this, and you'll notice all the granules that just came off the shingle that it was attached to. You took it off with it. So now you're leaving behind the exposed fiberglass asphalt matting of the shingle, and you took all the granules with it. So you actually did, a little more harm than good for that. If you're gonna do anything like that, I don't recommend power washing. I don't recommend going up there with a broom. There's a few products out there, wet and forget, spray and forget, stuff like that, really non-abrasive stuff. You just spray it on there, let it do its thing. It's not an overnight thing, but eventually it will shed off the roof. But if you got a lot of growth up there, give us a call. We'll come by, check it out for you, point you in the right direction. Number 4, missing or lifting shingles. So you're going outside one day, headed to your car, getting ready to go to work. All of a sudden, you see a shingle on the ground next to your car. That is not where that belongs. So what does this mean? If you begin to see shingles blowing off, you're actually missing shingles, don't know where they went, or you're beginning to see shingles that are starting to lift up and you notice little bumps on the roof now, this may be a sign you need a new roof. Once your roof gets to a certain age, the adhesives that actually hold the shingles together begins to fail from years of expansion and contraction during the hot and cold temperatures. And once that begins to happen, what happens is during windstorms, the shingles are a lot easier to lift up now, which can then cause blow-offs. As far as lifting shingles go, if you notice any bumps on your roof, the roof isn't laying flat anymore, what that could be, it could be one of two things. It could be either the roof decking underneath is beginning to lift because it was secured improperly, or it could be nails that are beginning to rise up and push the shingle up due to a lot of heat buildup in the attic or in the upstairs of the home, and that's causing the shingle to rise. And once that nail pushes the shingle up, that shingle has a better chance of blowing off now that it's no longer laying flat and it's no longer secured to the rest of the shingles on the roof. So if you begin to see any of those things, give us a call. We'll come by, take a look at it for you, make sure you're in good shape. Reason number 5, you may need a new roof. All your neighbors are getting new roofs. This may not be true for every instance, but this is especially true for homeowners who live in an area where all the homes were developed or built at the same time. Once you begin to see, your neighbors in that development begin to get new roof installations, you may need one as well. You don't necessarily need to see leaks in order to need a new roof. I'm a firm believer that it's better to be proactive rather than reactive when it comes to roofing, because the last thing you want to do is be replacing and or painting ceilings in your home because leaks are coming through. We've seen what water damage can do inside of a home. So it's definitely better to be proactive rather than reactive. But even if you don't live in one of these developments, another reason why you may need a new roof is that you don't know the age of your roof. A lot of homeowners buy homes, the roof is already up there. They're just going off of what the realtor had told them or neighbors had told them of when the roof was done. But let's face it, time goes by like that, so someone's judgment of how long the roof has actually been up there may not actually be true. So if that's the case, then we really suggest calling out a roofer, having them get out there, get a pair of eyes on it. We're pretty good at letting you know how old the actual roof is, or you can reach out to the city hall or town hall in your area, and they should be able to give you information off of permits that were pulled for the home, if any were pulled, and they'll be able to let you know how old your roof actually is. All right, that's all I have for today. Those are my 5 tips or reasons for why you may need a new roof. We definitely appreciate you guys tuning in. If you have any questions, concerns, or anything like that regarding your roof specifically, definitely feel free to call, text, email, reach out to us any way you want to, comment on the video. No question is a dumb question. I've heard it all. I love answering stuff like that. It keeps me sharp. So definitely feel free to reach out to us, and we really appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks.